can I get roll call, please?
Mrs. Gleason?
Here.
Ms. List? Here. Ms. Lot?
Here.
Ms. Motley?
Here.
Ms. Stearns?
Here.
Ms. Ressler?
Here.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Here.
Please stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to our board minute approval, can I get a motion to approve the May 2nd, 2023 special board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Abstain.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Abstain.
Ms. Ressler?
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve the May 2nd, 2023 reorganization meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Abstain.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Abstain.
Ms. Ressler?
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve the May 2nd, 2023 Committee of the Whole and closed meeting minutes? So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Gleason?
Abstain.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Abstain.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. I'd also like to move our agenda around, so I'd like to get a motion to move item 4.3, our principals reports, up to 3.1. Can I get a motion, please? So moved. Moved by Ms. Gleason. Second. Second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please. It was moved by Ms. Gleason, and second by Ms. Motley.
Ms. Gleason? Aye. Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Ressler?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
All right, moving on to our principals report.
So for tonight's report board, for the principals, along with Yasmin, the director of PR, we have keepers of the light presentation and some great guests here today, so we'll turn it over to Yasmin and the principals.
Board members, it's really awesome to stand in front of you again to do this for the second time this school year. As we round out our school year, we are happy to highlight outstanding students and staff in our district. And I'm gonna let Hillcrest take it away, so Principal, Murray, you wanna start?
Evening, everybody. Our first recipient of the Keeper of the Light at Hillcrest is Precious Wyndham. Come on up. I got to know Precious a little bit this year. She was a state qualifier in tennis, so she got to have lunch with the principal before she left for state. And since getting to know her the entire school year, just heard great thing after great thing after great thing about everything that she's accomplished in her time at Hillcrest. So her nominee, or the nominator, I suppose she's the nominee, Mr. Rammel, wrote, "Precious always has the brightest demeanor. She comes into my class, brings out the materials she needs for that day and gets to work. She doesn't care how hard the task is, she knows she can do it. After she's done, she has no problem asking other students if she needs help with their modules. This is the third time I've had Precious, and the ability of going above and beyond to help classmates is tremendous." So congratulations. Congratulations. Our second award recipient wasn't able to make it tonight. She had a little bit of a babysitter mishap, so she had to stay home, but it's Michelle Youngberg. Michelle, I can read the quotes, but I know enough about what Michelle has done this year. She's a family consumer science teacher for us, and She has elevated our social media presence to heights that we've never seen before. She goes, again, above and beyond in terms of what she does. And, I'll see stuff posted on a Sunday night, a Saturday morning. Whatever good news there is going on at Hillcrest, Michelle Youngberg is going to get that information out to the public, which I think is invaluable. So that's our other recipient. Thank you.
This is the iPad area, I was just told. So good evening on behalf of the Titans. I would actually like to invite Miss Natalie Gomez to come up and stand next to me. So I'm going to read to you, so Natalie was nominated by Miss Roark, her family consumer science teacher, and she says, Natalie shows up every day being the absolute best role model ever. We need more role models. She's kind and hardworking. In and out of the classroom, she's always helping others. She's very involved at Tinley Park High School, participating in volleyball, basketball, softball, pep club, junior leadership, and varsity club. Her effort in and out of the classroom does not go unnoticed. She's always smiling, and she's truly the definition of what a Titan is meant to be. I do have to tell you that when we pulled her out to take her picture with the big sign, there had to be at least 3 or 4 different adults that walked by and said, oh, what is she getting an award for? Oh, she's so nice. Oh, what is she getting an award for? She's so sweet. Oh, she's such a great student. So literally we were creating a little bit of a commotion in the hallway because so many people wanted to make sure to let us know what an outstanding young lady this is. So we're pleased to honor her tonight. And her certificate, I don't know where they found your middle name, but to Natalie Brooke Gomez, congratulations. And before Natalie sits down, I do want to give a shout out to Natalie's mom, Jackie, who is the assistant to the athletic director at Hillcrest. They look like sisters, more like mother and daughter, but keep the greatness in District 228. Thank you so much. And this next staff member, nominated by Mr. Lepowski, his social studies supervisor, I'd like Chris Vitt to come on up and join me. Now this nomination and award has a little bit of special meaning to me as well, but I'll get to that in just a second. Mr. Lepowski says that Chris is an outstanding teacher who works well with some of our highest performing students. He's able to get results on the AP Geography and AP World History tests that are at or above the national average. And he's done that consistently since he's been in this role. He is also doing great work as the head football coach at Tinley Park High School, helping Tinley Park students to better themselves, not just on the field, but to prepare them for life in general. I need to share with you that one day I'm sitting in my office and I had some kids come in and said they just wanted to come and say hello, and I'm thinking, that's awesome. You know, normally kids don't just stop in the main office and want to say hello. Well, it was an opportunity that teacher coach created here, that he had all of his football players. I mean, think about the world that we live in today, and we don't have a whole lot of socialization, but they had to go meet adults in the building, shake their hand, introduce themselves, and we signed off that we met them, and we just had a little brief conversation with all of our young men on the Titan football program. And I enjoyed it. I think sometimes they were a little nervous, but I think they enjoyed it just as much as I did. Along with, and I should have went to one of his lessons, I have 2 teenage boys. He had a whole session in teaching the young men how to tie ties. Again, the mom of the 2 teenage sons, I need some lessons myself. I should have crashed that instructional opportunity. But why this comes from such a place of pride for myself, Chris is a graduate of Tinley Park High School from the class of 2000. He was my student. He was an excellent student in the classroom, and to see what he does for Tinley Park High School and how he promotes, again, that pride and tradition of Tinley Park High School, it's exactly the type of person that you want working with your kids. So we also get his wife, Lori Vitt, as a business teacher. So family in our student nomination and family in our staff nomination, and we couldn't be more proud that he's receiving this award tonight. Your name is not on the certificate. Thank you.
Armando, can I borrow you to come on up here, please? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hi. So this evening, I'm very excited to represent Delta Academy here with Armando Flores, who's one of our most recent graduates of the program. Armando, as well as our staff who is nominated tonight, were nominated by multiple people, which is why we chose to honor Armando this evening. So, Armando, there's a lot to go through, so I'm going to share two of them, and I'm going to share a quick story about you. Armando makes sure to say good morning every day the minute that he walks through the doors of the building. He always has a smile on his face, and his positive attitude is contagious. Armando struggled with work this first semester, and he came in determined to finish all of his work second semester, which he did. I am so proud of him for always asking for help with his work when needed, and his determination and dedication to finishing it. Armando has demonstrated true determination in his work so hard to achieve his graduation goal. He is so kind, respectful, and polite. And Mom, where did you get a seat at? He is fantastic. We just adore him. Truly one of the most polite young men I've ever got to work with. And our story for Armando is probably one of the highlights of our year so far. Armando and another young lady were working with Miss Reedy, who is our night school teacher. And she is not his classroom teacher, and she was working on a math assignment with you. And Armando was being dismissed for the buses, and he went to go get up, and Miss Reedy jumped up with excitement because she thought that he had understood the problem, and he saw how excited she was that he sat back down and chose to miss the bus because he didn't want to ruin her moment. And then Mom graciously came and picked him up, and we figured all of that out, but that is just to kind of show you what kind of student he is. And when asked about it, he said just that. He said she was just so excited teaching us. I had to stay. And then the other young lady stayed with her because she also felt the same way. So Armando finished about 2 weeks ago and has since been back to Delta Academy, I think 5 or 6 times, because he just isn't really ready to say goodbye yet, nor is his teacher, Miss Nealon, who came out to represent him today. So with that, we'd like to honor you as the keeper of the light, Armando.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congrats. All right, Mr. Ross, you're up. All right, this next one is going to be a little bittersweet. Thank you for Amir Ross is coming from his son's baseball practice today. So thank you for making it in. Hi, Blake. How are you? Good. Thanks for coming. All right, so Mr. Ross, you also had a couple of staff members and team members who wanted to honor you tonight. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit and read what they had to say about you. Mr. Ross is a dedicated teacher and coach who goes above and beyond for his students. Recently, I overheard Mr. Ross reaching out to college basketball coaches in hopes to get one of his students considered to play for their team. The student is very bright, but had hit a moment where he was losing motivation on his own. Mr. Ross did not give up on him and worked endlessly to get him in the right mindset to work beyond high school. His efforts paid off as the student was offered multiple scholarships and opportunities and has since signed to play and attend college next school year. Amir Ross has a very genuine heart and cares deeply for all of his students and athletes. He should be recognized as a keeper of the light for his hard work and outstanding commitment to help students succeed. And then the second one is on behalf of someone who wanted to remain anonymous, but a few of us spoke and all had very similar sentiments. Amir is transferring from Delta Achieve to Bremen High School next year, which we are very sad about and very excited for him. He's a former Brave, so he is going to return home next year. And on behalf of Delta Academy, this program is in its 5th year of existence, and Amir has played an integral part of its development to where it is today. Countless students who have passed through Delta and Achieve have graduated because of the efforts of Mr. Ross. His influence will resonate through the halls of Delta Achieve for years to come. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
know that.
Good evening, welcome to Oak Forest High School. I'm going to ask Morgan Nielsen to come up. Okay, Morgan is a senior. It's kind of a busy time, right? We're wrapping up the end of the school year, but Morgan has worked with me this year on the principal's advisory, and I certainly have appreciated her sharing her experiences and opinions and her attempts to make Oak Forest High School the best place it can be. But some of the things people said about Morgan were that she was very organized and efficient and the most capable person ever in organizing the Rotary Pancake Breakfast that was held recently. And I can always count on her to do whatever needs to be done, which is a few comments from other people. She was also nominated by multiple people within the district or within the school building. And this last recommendation comes from Carrie Pecca, who is our social worker here. And she works with her in the Interact Club. So Morgan is and yearbook, right? All right, yeah. Morgan does it all, right? Student council, yearbook, and there's probably even more. And she also has a job. She is also one of our Evans Scholars, so she will be attending university on a full ride Evans Scholarship. So certainly an exciting time. So Ms. Pecca said that Morgan is an incredibly helpful, kind, and hardworking student that has a passion for helping others and making everyone feel a part of the school environment. As the vice president of the Interact Club at Oak Forest, I know I can always count on Morgan for any service opportunities or activities. She's extremely committed to all of her clubs and activities and is such a well-rounded student. She is always the first to volunteer to help during the school, on weekends, or after school hours, and does all she can to make Oak Forest High School a wonderful place. We're lucky to have had Morgan as a Bengal these last 4 years, and I couldn't agree more. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to ask Mrs. Shake to come on up. As she's coming up, this is Ruba Shake. She is a new teacher this year. She actually has worked with us in both the English and in the special ed department this year, and she's going to be continuing to help us with the English department, but moving to assist our English language learners next year as well. And so she also was nominated by multiple people within the building. So I'm going to read a little bit of what Ms. Harris-Samita had to say about her. So Mrs. Shake was nominated for making a positive impact on the community at Oak Forest High School. Our Arabic and Middle Eastern population has been a growing population at Oak Forest High School, and it's such a pleasure to have an adult to be a positive role model for our students. In addition, Mrs. Shake has given a lot of herself also to the school by organizing a Ramadan iftar dinner. In order to keep the dinner free, she and a committee she led collected donations from various businesses of food and money to purchase food and decorations for the school. It has really taught the students at Oak Forest High School a lot about another culture, and having students come from practice to enjoy the Ramadan iftar dinner with friends was a pleasure to behold. In addition, Mrs. Sheikh has been teaching Arabic words during Ramadan and highlighting famous discoveries and inventions of Arabic scholars and inventors to the student body over the announcements in the morning. I really enjoy listening to these short segments and learning the words she teaches. I appreciate all of these things she has done to impact Oak Forest High School community, and these are only the things she does outside of the classroom. Inside of the classroom, she treats her students with respect and believes in them with her whole heart, which is also a joy to see. It definitely was an experience for our entire community. Attending this dinner, it was very well put on, very well organized. So much was donated by our community, and I have to say, a lot of times in this position, you get the credit when you didn't do the work, and this was certainly one of those nights too, because it was certainly all of her work, and parents and families really came up to me, thanking me for all the work that she did, really, and some of their comments were things like, this is just amazing how much we feel a part of the community tonight. So that's all in thanks to her. So thank you so much and congratulations. Congratulations. All right, thank you. And now Bremen High School.
Good evening. from the Bremen Braves. I'm going to start by Blackwell's got my student nominee, Susan Cabrejo, in back, signing off on a very big check that we're excited. The timing worked out just right. She was nominated as Keeper of the Light. Susan, Mr. Blackwell's going to join us as well. Susan recently held the first ever staff-student charity soccer game at Bremen High School. Soccer is a huge thing for our students in our community, so Susan was really passionate about doing it in a fun way to raise money for the American Diabetes Association. So I'm going to read one of the nominations, one of the submissions about Susan, and then we've got a little thing we're going to share with you guys here. Susan is a junior at Bremen who's involved in the National Honor Society, girls soccer team, and the Bremen Band. She also makes a daily impact on our students as a student tutor in the English Language Lounge. Recently, Susan was inspired by the NHS Passion Project program to create an inclusive fundraising event for a cause she believes in. For the past 3 months, Susan has worked tirelessly to dream up, coordinate, and promote the first ever Student First Staff charity soccer game. All proceeds from ticket sales and concessions from the event are going to be donated to the American Diabetes Association. Hashtag goals for a cure. Mr. Blackwell loves his hashtags. We held the event on April 27th. It was after a couple just really ugly days of bad weather, and the sun was shining. She said she planned it. She picked that day perfectly and planned for that great weather. But I will say, we have students all the time that come to us with ideas and aren't always great about carrying them out, or they need a lot more assistance to get their ideas off the ground. Susan was not that. She just, from the moment she got started, she designed jerseys. Staff had one set, students had the other. I mean, she did every little detail, took care of everything, and because of her efforts, she was able to raise.
And this is the first time Susan's seen the final total. So Susan, through her efforts, was able to raise $2,000 to the American
Susan is an incredible asset at Bremen High School, and we're excited she's only a junior. We have her for 1 more year. So congratulations to Susan. And my staff member, if I can have Miss Patty Godette come up and join me. Patty is one of the most important people in our building and has been for the last 30 years, as she will be retiring this year. Multiple nominations, from teachers to social workers, psychologists. Tons of people nominated Patty this year, and not just because she's retiring after a great career at Bremen High School, but because she has always gone above and beyond for our students in ways that you couldn't imagine. So I'm going to read just a short passage from one of the submissions tonight. Patty created our behavior support programming in District 228. She works day, night, weekends, and when needed in the summer to help her Bremen Pal students find academic success. She's often the first one in and the last one to leave her room, and she rarely, if ever, declines a Google Voice call from a student. She most certainly never takes a day off either. Patty's not only an advocate and guide for students, she also supports our various collaborative teams by sharing her knowledge and by lending a helping hand. It should also be noted that since she created PALS, every student of hers at Bremen has graduated on time, which is, that's an incredible thing that we're doing. Even during COVID, Patty made sure that some way, somehow, every student found success. And these are crazy hours. If she found a way, we know that kids sometimes show up at different times, and when a kid was ready to get on track and turn over a new leaf, Ms. Godette was always there, willing and able to help. So circle back to the statement that she works days, nights, weekends, and summer when needed to help encourage, guide, reteach, and cheerlead her students. This is how she's maintained that incredible track record of all of our senior PAL students graduating on time. Patty simply does not see failure as an option, and she never, ever, ever gives up. So congratulations to Patty Godette on her 30 years of service and being an incredible keeper of the light.
And last but not least, we're happy to be a part of the Keepers of the Light program here at the Administrative Center. So if I could have Mr. Kevin Baffo come on up and join me. Mr. Mr. Baffo is our Director of Buildings and Grounds, and he was nominated by a couple staff members. They had the following to say about him. By Sean Walsh, Kevin is a doer, he can always be counted on. And by Dr. Roswell, Kevin has a high standard of what our facilities should look like and how they should operate. He has this high standard because he believes our staff and students should have facilities that are only an asset, not distracting or problematic. He's a team player, is an excellent communicator, and serves as a strong leader in the department that needs strong leaders. I'd add myself that he has excellent follow-through in his position where timelines are important and tasks are important. He's top of the line, he's knowledgeable, he does homework, and he makes sure that we always have our projects completed on time and under budget. So I appreciate all his efforts and work too. So Kevin Baffo, Keeper of the Light. If I could ask, thank you all the families, students, staff, friends that were here tonight. If you don't mind, it's a perfect break anyway. I'm sure you'd be riveted by the rest of our board meeting, but if you could join Yasmin in the hallway, maybe we'd go down to the lobby in front of the nice bangle or something like that, get some district picture for all of our Keepers of the Lights with certificates. That'd be awesome if you'd be willing to do that. So congratulations to all the Keepers of the Light. You too, Kevin.
No, sorry, dude. I'll read your stuff.
All right, congratulations again to all the students and faculty members on their awards. We really appreciate the nominations that were put in the presentation, so congratulations to all. We will go back to our regularly scheduled program here, moving on to our public comments. We have one public comment. Liz, you want to announce?
Yep, Mr. Mark Johnson.
Hello, everyone. I'm a former board member that decided that we need to make a movement. So I call it the censor movement. My struggles on the board is anybody that want to know about me can. But Mayor Alsbury, I think he should be impeached because he's going to go against the voters of his community. And my reason for this, believing that Country Club Hills and the other Country Club Hills, Markham, and one other got an Amazon built in there. Then The other two communities, East Hazelcrest and Homewood, are getting that casino built in there. He's the only mayor that don't have a major project coming into his town. Which means that if he gets his way, he is going to there's a golf course on 175th in Pulaski, and you got people from Homewood. Everybody's fighting against him from rezoning this piece of property. If he rezones it, that means that they're estimating that the property values of Hazelcrest will drop between 70 to 80%. That means every school that is collect money from Hazelcrest is gonna drop dramatically. And the rest of us are gonna have to pick it up. Now, he has every right to back who he wants, but he has control of the entire board. And not only that, but he has it over there as well, in his own community. He's gonna go against those people to put a $500 piece of trucking stop over there that's gonna cause a lot of disaster. It's gonna cause flooding. I'm here, I don't mind. You can have that seat. It wasn't that important. But I'm fighting for every one of the students that come out here, that attend our district, and I want nothing but the best for them. We didn't pick the best, as you will see once you really get into it. These people, I guarantee you, do not vote in the best interest of the district. $200,000 to $250,000 for a teacher? Are you kidding me? 600,000, $1.5 to $2 million for these people to go in and talk about our negotiations, who already had a contract in hand? Yeah, they wanted to censor me and went and took us to court to censor me, to stop me from telling y'all about what is going on in this district. A teacher right now makes $1,000. Some of these teachers make $1,000 a day for 174 days. Yes, we're gonna say we're censored. But anybody that's gonna pick up on the movement to go out here and making sure that it's rather to be on this side of the table than on that side of the table. Because down your list, they're gonna show you where public comments and all of that stuff, you won't be allowed to do it. You won't be allowed to do it. It's a disaster that's facing our district, and I'm proud to be up here speaking for the people of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right. Moving on to item 4, our finance presentation, Ms. Morrison. Oh, there she is.
Board members, just a quick follow-up to the presentation that I gave last Tuesday. This is Tammy Shelmo. She's the Senior Vice President Managing Director with PMA Securities. So she's kind of going to go through some of the specifics that we had talked about last week and be able to answer any questions if you have any. So feel free to, if anything comes up along the way, or if you have any questions on last week's presentation as well.
Thank you. It's nice to meet everyone. Thank you for carving out some time in your busy board meeting agenda for me to do an overview of the presentation that Ms. Morrison took you through last week. I know she took you through a lot of detail, so my goal tonight is to, again, hit sort of the high-level points and, most importantly, see if you have any questions as we move ahead over the next few months. So the district issued what are called qualified school construction bonds back in 2016, which was a great opportunity for the district to to take care of some capital projects at a very, very low net interest rate. The way that those bonds are structured, the district makes principal payments every year into an investment account, and that investment account is intended to earn interest over time until the bonds are fully paid off in 2041. Now, we have a moving interest rate environment, as you're well aware, and interest rates have been coming up. But this is a schedule, and those blue bars represent the district's cost payments on a net basis, and what it actually levies to taxpayers to make the payments every single year on those bonds. So you can see they're even until the very last year, approximately at a little over $4 million per year. Now, if the district didn't earn anything in this investment account over time, after making those principal payments every single year, like I mentioned, we have the other brighter blue bar on the right-hand side. That's how high that bar would go, meaning you would have to increase that payment significantly in the final year. With the opportunity that Ms. Morrison explained to you last week, we are more excited about the next graph, which enables you to maximize your interest earnings in this investment account. So we are, hopefully, as you can see here, then the goal is to get to where that last bar, where it was really high before, we want it to be really in tandem with all the other years so that you don't see a big increase in that final payment or that final tax levy. So there is a way through what's called a forward purchase agreement to enable you to achieve the maximum interest rate of 1.84% until 2041. That 1.84%, by the way, is what the federal government says is the maximum rate that you're allowed to earn. So with this forward purchase agreement, we set up a structure that you're guaranteed to earn 1.84%. Now you might say, well, interest rates are higher right now. Can't we get the 1.84% pretty easily right now? And the answer is yes, right now you can, but over the next 18 years, we don't know what interest rates will do, and it's very likely in some years, if we don't do this agreement, you won't achieve it. And that bar would be somewhere between the really high one on the prior graph and this one. So the goal is to make sure this is what the structure looks like, okay? So if we go to the next slide, this is a timetable. And I know Ms. Morrison mentioned next week that at the same time, you also have an opportunity to, through a bond issue, free up some dollars for other purposes at the district. Primarily, it's monies that are restricted under state law, that unless we go through this bond process, it's a relatively small bond issue, which you can see in the documents you have tonight on your agenda, is up to $1.5 million. Now, you will not be raising taxes to pay this bond back because you already have the money in a fund balance that is currently restricted. But by going through this bond issuance process and ultimately using the dollars you have to pay the bonds off, that's how you're able to free up those dollars for some capital projects and also to pay the fees associated with this forward purchase agreement. So tonight's board meeting, you have two resolutions. One's called a resolution of intent. Another one's called a resolution calling a bond issue notification act hearing. After the board approves those tonight, we'll put necessary legal notices in the newspaper, and you'll have a public hearing regarding the bond sale at your June 20th board meeting. We'll continue to go through some of the necessary legal steps, and then at your July board meeting, that's when you'll actually approve a resolution to sell the bonds, and you'll approve a resolution to amend the investment agreement that you have in place for that investment account, for the QSCDs, as we call it for short, and to authorize the execution of the forward purchase agreement that I mentioned. We close the bond issue by the end of July, which means you get the proceeds into another account where you can lawfully use them for the purposes I described a couple minutes ago, close on that transaction, and then we take care of that investment account, the new investments, by middle of August. And everything wraps up by the middle of September. So we're really excited to bring this opportunity to you. There's a lot of moving parts, as you can see. We wanted to give you an idea of what the board will be asked to do over the next several months. And as I said, there's a lot of moving parts. So I'll pause there, and if there's anything you wanted to add, or if there are any questions, I'm happy to entertain those.
Listen, when the, notification goes out about the bond sale, will there be something in it that says taxes won't go up? 'Cause otherwise, we're gonna get a lot
I
of phone
understand.
calls.
Unfortunately, it does not. In the legal notice that goes in the paper, it's state statute dictates what it says. But at the public hearing, the board president has the opportunity to explain and say, this is the purpose of the bond sale, and could also say, we are not raising taxes. So that can be made very clear at the public hearing.
And just to clarify, based on the math that Ms. Morrison told us last week, what we're doing in that final year, we're taking the risk of as high as a $14 million final year payment and reducing it to around the normal 4.
Yes, that's right.
Anything else? Alright, well, that just sums it up for you. If there's any other questions that come up, like she said, next month we'll actually have the public hearing, so anything that comes up between now and then, feel free to reach out, or if you get questions from taxpayers, you can forward them to me, and I'll handle those directly. Brittany was very thorough.
She did all the hard work, clearly, which I appreciate.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item 4.2, our superintendent report, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Ressler. Last week, as a district, we celebrated Staff Appreciation. I want to thank all the board members who had the chance to write a message to all of our staff, and they were well received. We really appreciate you taking the time, and it's an honor and a privilege to be able to work in a district where the board supports the efforts of all the staff, and we're happy to echo that message as well. Small token of appreciation on behalf of the board, we gave all of our staff the shirt that you have in front of you, trying to up the game of the District 228 swag. We got a lot of school stuff out there, but we're trying to get the District 228 logo and like I said, swag out there too. So thank you for that, and appreciate those messages. Reminder that big week, next week, we got graduations at Tinley Park Convention Center. 2 schools on Tuesday, 2 schools on Wednesday, 4:30 and 7:30. Tonight, you received your packet from Tiffany. Take a look through that. If you have any questions, concerns, there's parking passes, there's the menu for dinner. So if there's any board members who have any restrictions or any issues, just reach out to either myself or Tiffany, and we'll make sure we accommodate you appropriately. Tomorrow finishes our honors night loops. So both Bremen and Oak Forest are tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Everyone, of course, is welcome. I'll be at Bremen, and I know Dr. Williams will be back in town. She'll be at Oak Forest from the Ad Center. And then finally, for my report, just a reminder to board members, new and incumbents, the ISB conference is in November. That very well attended. So if you have interest and think you might be doing so, reach out to Tiff. Registration starts coming in and due around June 5th. So you probably got some info on that, but if you know, it's better to send it to us and reserve your spot. Make adjustments after that. So just reach out to Tiff or myself, and make sure we take care of you there. That's all I have.
You want to jump right into FOIA reports?
Absolutely,
Let's
thank
do it.
you. Freedom of Information Act request. Since the last regular board meeting, received the following FOIA requests. Christine Harper from the University of Kentucky, Chief Enrollment Officer, requested directory information from our students, including name, address, email, phone number, and grade level. This request has been completed.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, moving on to 4.5, any board member reports?
First of all, congratulations to all the award winners tonight. I'm sure sounds like wonderful choices, and just says a lot about our district. I was able to attend the closing of Operation Snowball. I was amazed at the number of students there. They were so excited about what they had participated in. The staff was excited. There were people who came back that have done it 10, 15 years ago that participated. It was really a great thing to see. And finally, I took my grandchildren to see Oak Forest's presentation of Joseph, and to summarize it all, as we were walking to the parking lot, my 4-year-old granddaughter looked at me and said, "Nana, that was amazing." And it was. Congratulations to everybody that was involved.
all. And congratulations to our winners tonight. I want to congratulate the Hillcrest Drama Group on a job well done on their double feature, Appropriate Audience Behavior and I Hate Shakespeare. Both performances were hilarious. I went to support my child as they were in the production. It's just a great group, and I'm excited to see what their fall lineup is, and I'm excited to get to our district schools as a theater lover, so can't wait till the fall programs. Thank you.
I had an opportunity to attend the Hillcrest and Tillamook Honors and Senior Nights. I'm always blown away by the achievements of these students, but I think my favorite was not only hearing about the academic achievements in the universities, but I think I was most excited to see the students that were enrolled in the unions, in the different trades. That was really awesome to recognize, and just really excited about those programs that are going through these students that are taking advantage of that. So thank you very much for that. If there are no other board member reports, let's move on to new business. Ms. Morrison, item 5.1.
Item 5.1 is the bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. These items are being recommended for full board approval.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Stearns, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Item 5.2 is the audit engagement letter for fiscal year 2023. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Stearns. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.
Item 5.3 is the resolution declaring the intention to issue $1.5 million working cash fund bonds for the purpose of increasing the district's working cash fund and directing that notice of such intention to be published in the manner provided by law.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.
Item 5.4 is the resolution calling a public hearing concerning the intent of the district to sell $1.5 million of working cash bonds for the purpose of increasing the working cash fund of the district.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. Item 5.5, Dr. Sikora.
Thank you, Mrs. Wrestler. Item 5.5 is an intergovernmental agreement between District 228 and District 510, which is South Suburban College, for our welding program. District 228 has proposed an intergovernmental agreement with the college, District 510 for our welding. This agreement allows the 228 to host two college courses, Welding 104 and Welding 110, on its campus and service current students, graduates of our school, and South Suburban College course students. Further details of the agreement are outlined in our memo as discussed in Committee of the Whole. I am recommending this agreement for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. Item 5.6.
Mrs. Russell, item 5.6 is the abatement of our emergency days for the school calendar 2022-2023. During the 2022-2023 school year, the district used one e-learning day on December 23rd, 2022, and plans on using one on May 26, 2023. These days do not need to be made up at the end of the school year. We do not expect to use the 5 emergency days this school year, so the attached abated 2022-2023 calendar eliminates these emergency days. Therefore, the final day of school this year is Friday, May 26, 2023. I'm recommending the abated calendar for full board approval.
So moved. Moved by Ms. Stearns, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. Item 5.7, Dr. Sikora.
Mrs. Dressler, item 5.7 is update to our press policy, our board policy. After careful review, I'm recommending approval of revisions to the following sections of board policy as discussed and shared during committee of the whole. 2:110, qualifications, term, and duties of board officers. 3:40, superintendent. 4:60, purchases and contracts. 5:30, hiring process and criteria. 5:90, abused and neglected child reporting. 5:125, personal technology and social media usage and conduct. 5:150, personnel records. 5:260, student teachers. 6:135, accelerated placement program, and 6:230, library media program. I am recommending these changes for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. Item 5.8, Dr. Sikora.
Thank you, Mr. Dressler. Item 5.8 is the 2023-2024 Illinois Association of School Board membership dues. This membership provides services including publications, lobbying, consultations with staff, and reduced fees for service programs such as executive searches, press policy services, in-district and regional workshops, and our annual conference I mentioned earlier today. Division meetings provide opportunities for professional development, peer recognition, participation in association governance, and learning about IASB resources. Sponsored programs often allow districts to save more money annually than they pay in dues. New services and programs are added as the district needs arise. Attached is the 2023-24 renewal notice in the amount of $9,916 for the IASB dues. This is an increase of $289 from the 2022-23 school year. At this time, I am recommending full for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. Moving on to personnel recommendations. Dr. Goggins.
Under retirement, Debbie Doyle. Under leave, Dianisa Martinez, Thomas Kearney, and Edward Mandrala. Under resignations, Zach Kuipers. Under employment, Alex Alvarez, Gina Woolwine, Gianna Horry, Alex Marin, Michelle Pluhar, Riley Klett, Joseph Moper, Andrew Harrington, Kara Trojan, Kelly Skalnick, Sean Coffey, Lily Holman, Celeste Angulo, Sir Staten, Catherine Vega, John Ford, Ron Olszewski, and Kevin Kennedy. Under change in position, Nathaniel Giglio, and under additional positions, an EL program assistant and a special education coordinator. These are being recommended to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye. All right, can I get a motion to go to closed session to consider information regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C1, and information regarding collective bargaining, 5 ILCS 122, Section C2.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Ms. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Wrestler?
Aye.